Las Vegas Discount.net's the best there is. Save up to 50% on your next Vegas trip. And travel, rental, shows, and tours. Find the deals you're looking for. Las Vegas Discount.net. Las Vegas Discount.net. If you're going to Vegas for deals that are the best, visit Las Vegas Discount.net.
Welcome to Black and White Recovery. Your hosts have been associated with recovery programs for over 50 years. This show is not associated or related to any 12-step program. The advice is strictly to be taken as advice, or it may be used for drinking games. Always consult with your sponsor, attorney, doctor, or anyone with more common sense other than Lee.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Black and White Recovery. My name is Lee, and I am joined by Ian. How you doing today, Ian?
I'm doing excellently. How are you?
Aha! Full of life and joy and light and all that other horse shit I was promised out of that ridiculous book.
Oh, joyous, happy, and free?
There you go. I knew it was some kind of,
bullshit.
Well, I understand why it exists. I don't...
Right.
Okay, so here's why I'm fascinated on a Friday night as we record this show.
Right.
When I'm picking a sponsor, hypothetically,
Yeah.
What should my criteria be?
They say, oh, you want what he has. But you know what? I picked somebody I thought was the exact opposite of me.
Well, I would think in your case that's true. Somebody who's probably a kind, quiet pacifist would be a good place to start for you.
No, he wasn't. He was a big Irish drinker only, sweater vest, penny loafers, glasses, and I didn't have glasses then. After getting to know one another, all we really did was dress different.
Right. So you like attracts like.
Right.
So instead of finding a sponsor that probably would have given you sage advice of not beating up people at meetings, you instead found somebody who would tell you, yeah, knock them the fuck out.
I don't do that anymore, though. No. I remember I came in from a 7 a.m. and I was out the night before, and my hands were I had bloody knuckles and whatever. He leaned over and he's like, hey, you didn't kill him, did you? And I'm just like, well, my higher power said Eddie needed an ass kicking.
Well, okay.
Eddie wasn't in the program. Eddie was a partner of mine in the junkyard business.
Let me ask this because I'm asking on a clearly hypothetical level.
Right.
Should there be certain qualities that a sponsor has other than time?
Yeah.
That's really my bigger question in life.
Yeah.
Where is that line?
I think there should be some sense of sanity. A lot of people pick a sponsor because of their personality or, with women it's hilarious. But I mean, with guys, it has to do with how full of shit they really are. but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I needed, at that time, the older father figure type. And then, every time I'd throw a harebrained idea at him, he'd be like, listen, you're going to do what you're going to do. But if I were you, and that's how he explained things to me. So even if I went ahead and did it, he's just like, hey, whatever is whatever. Do what you want to do. Just, know the consequences.
Well, in the particular case of women, I'm completely fascinated that they just follow the herd. They tend to be sponsored by really messed up women.
Right.
Like it's generationally, and I'm not saying that there aren't really great women in the program. I have met some phenomenal women in the program.
Absolutely. Most are.
The ones that
Especially
are...
if they're listening to us.
The phenomenal ones are the ones who seem to not sponsor anyone.
Right.
It seems to be really deranged psychotics who seem to be sponsoring people.
Right.
That's just my impression with the women.
I sponsor a few. Oh, with women, yeah.
Now, in regards to men, here's the reason I bring it up. At what point, if I have at what point in my sobriety, how many years of sobriety should I sort of drop the bullshit facade and start being a real person? Like, at how many years should I not pretend that I'm living in the past, that I'm haven't completely destroyed my present, that I'm completely running away from my problems, literally pulling a geographic, I might add, hypothetically. At how many years of sobriety should I collectively at least have my shit together to be able to shrug and go, I fucked up?
I know a guy that did that. He had 24 years. He did it a week and a half ago.
Funny. I know a guy with a little bit more time than that who just upped and did that and moved out to the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, this guy, he's...
While lying about it.
Yeah, he screwed over a lot of people. And he was going to kill himself. But...
that's acceptable. Well, we've had that show already, but...
Yeah, exactly. But he didn't. I don't know if he drank or not. He took off. Either that or one of his best friends is protecting him.
Well, I get that. In this particular case, I
people.
will safely say in this particular case, okay, this didn't screw up, but from a business standpoint, literally burning rubble, right? So bad that not able to make house payments. Mm-hmm. Still believes that he should, sponsor and give advice to people. But I guess because the only thing that he's been able to successfully do, other than to lie about his life and to lie about certain things, is to stay sober. I guess that's the goal of the program. Stay sober, don't use drugs, no matter what. But it's okay if you lie to your wife, lie about your life, lie about who you are. Basically fail on almost every level conceivable, right? It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Sure, it's okay.
I guess that's the point, right? So no matter how whatever kind of fire I start, whatever it is, hey, no big deal. I'm still sober, and that's all that matters.
Right. Well, I mean, I've been sober through some low points in my life. I'm not going to say that they were lower than before. I shouldn't say that. Yeah, I was in some rough financial shape at a year and a half sober because I made all my amends. And
how about 25 years of sobriety? I mean, at what point? Let's take the example of your individual.
Well, I mean, I got into a rut last year. I mean, that's 21 years of recovery.
But are you sucking people down with you?
I don't think so.
I mean, you were certainly taking victims at meetings.
Oh, that's never going to stop.
Right.
No, I wasn't taking them at meetings.
Okay.
I was taking them to meetings.
Whatever.
Well,
you get my point.
Right.
As a sponsor, you're not lying about a life that you have, are you?
No.
Hypothetically, if you were married and cheating on your wife, would you lie about that to your sponsees?
No, I wouldn't do that. It's very hard to get me to commit, but once I commit, I don't act like my father did.
Right.
And that is probably resentment. But it's been a while since I've been in a heavy commitment, so.
You haven't had your family co-sign for very large loans and start businesses and then walk away from them because you're a failure at business, have you? At 20 plus years of sobriety?
No, but I've had some business failures at 20 plus years of sobriety.
Well, no, and business failures are fine. Beginning, starting, and ending and having failures. But saying it's everybody else's fault but yours, are you that kind of person? Are you realistic?
No, I mean, the nice thing, a lot of my partners, once I started treating them as toxic people, stopped being my partners and stopped being around, and I was happy about that. because I was getting the short end of the stick. You take 3 people out of your life that you're getting the short end of the stick from, and boom, you're on fire. I mean, everything's great.
Right. I'm with you. And that's, I guess that's kind of my point to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering, at what point do you kind of grow up and act like an adult?
I hope never.
Okay, how about just some level of responsibility? Certainly as a sponsor, you should have a certain level of responsibility, right?
I have 20-something employees. I got that's about it. That's enough.
That's what I'm fascinated with. I guess that's my big point. I'm fascinated with the whole fuck it, I'm doing all this shit, but I'm going to tell people how to live life slightly different. To me, that's pretty phenomenal. And then to frown upon the behaviors of anybody else, how they run their sobriety. I would tend to believe that I'm starting to have this opinion that sobriety is much like religion itself, right? Everybody prays to God a little different. So whatever floats your boat, floats your boat.
Right.
The common thread being don't drink, don't use.
Correct.
And I would even take it a step farther. Don't drink, don't use abusively. Right? I mean, isn't that what it really comes down to?
Yeah, if you could do it not being abusively, you'd never be here.
Right, my point. I'll give you an example. This is turning into a very weird show.
Yes.
I dated somebody that I knew from way back in the program. Way, dated when I first got sober, back in the 90s.
Right.
And she literally was very young at the time, as was I. She was in her 20s. I was in my late 20s. Hooked up with again with her later on. 10, 20 years had passed. Right. And literally, like, that period of time was a blackout to her. And she occasionally had a drink as a former full-blown meth addict. I have no reason to look down on her. She didn't go to meetings. She's not abusing it. She's a nurse and an upstanding human being later on in life.
Yeah. The girl that got me sober drinks like a fish, but she can handle it, I think.
Well, my point to that analogy is, by most standards, there are a large percentage of people in the program that would frown upon that behavior.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Well, it's a program of abstinence.
Is it? Or is it a program of growth?
I don't know. I think it's a program of abstinence. I'm not worried about growing. I mean, it took me 11 years just to give up, being a criminal. And I still, I still speed. I still bounce checks when I don't mean to. I still tell people I'll pay you back tomorrow and, give them the story for a couple of weeks.
I just find it really frustrating from my perspective, right? One of the reasons, and I've said it before as we recorded, one of the reasons I stopped going to meeting was the personality being greater than the principles of the program. That's basically the bottom line to it.
Well, and that's the whole problem. You just got to go to meetings that you don't know anybody. Then you don't have any personalities.
Well, to take it a step further, the reason I stopped hanging around with some really great people that I love, and I love these people, okay? But their aspirations and their goals in life are not even remotely the same as mine. They're not even in the same strata of, what I'm trying to achieve in my life. It is with no...
But you all have the same common thread of wanting to stay sober one more day.
Right, but that's not a major concern for me anymore. At some point, when I was living on the roof of the Alano Club, speech gets a little old.
Yeah.
That's not... Okay, hypothetically, if I was still going to meetings, and if I still had sort of that canned, well, I remember when I first came in and I was told to keep my mouth shut and my ears open, If
You
that
know,
was
I
still
felt
coming out of
okay.
my face after 20 some odd years, I'd want to blow